This is Rudkowski of WeAreChange.org here in Rio De Janeiro, and what you're seeing right in front of me is actually a pro-government, pro-Dilma, anti-impeachment rally happening in front of me. Now, compared to the anti-government rallies, this is extremely sparse. As you can see, there's only about 100, 200 people here, but online, especially with independent media, there has been many arguments that the impeachment of Dilma, the president of Brazil, is actually a coup d'etat for bigger, grander geopolitical reasons with the United States involved. In this video, we're going to give you both sides of the argument and tell you just some of the facts behind this complex situation that's unfolding right in front of this beautiful country that will ultimately change its political direction. Now, the main argument that people are making when it comes to Dilma's impeachment that say it's a coup d'etat is mainly because the mainstream media here has been the major force behind this political movement. The mainstream media is heavily regulated by the government, and they're controlled by 5 major organizations, 5 major conglomerates, corporations that control everything the people see and hear on mainstream media. They have been pushing for this, and obviously their ties are with the elites of this country and not with the people. With this happening, this has many people raising the question if this is motivated politically for other reasons than just corruption. Now, it's also important to note the U.S. State Department has been in contact with the opposition leaders of the government that will take charge when Dilma is impeached. Right now, as we are speaking, the Congress has voted to impeach Dilma. Millions of people have come out into the streets and celebrated and had fireworks and went crazy. There was a huge demonstration because of this impeachment, and now the Senate is voting on whether there will be a criminal investigation of the current president, Dilma. As the Senate is voting on this, many people realize that the vice president would step into power. If Dilma is criminally investigated, she would automatically lose her presidency. When this happens, the vice president, which many people point out to the fact is actually more corrupt than Dilma, actually wants to make the Department of Finance here a former Goldman Sachs employee. Now, with all of this happening, many people are saying that Dilma does not have as much as corrupt policies as all the other presidents before her. The president before her, who's a good friend of her, is Lula. Lula, who's mainly connected with Petrobras, the oil and gas company here that has been caught just taking money underneath the table, bribing politicians, and having politicians take the majority of the money away from public funds. When Lula was indicted and there was a criminal investigation, Dilma, the current president, decided to actually cover up this criminal investigation by taking the former president and making him a member of her cabinet, making him exempt for criminal law. Because of this, Congress has voted to impeach her, and now the Senate is voting for a criminal investigation which would ultimately get her out of power. Now, with this happening, there's a counter side to all of this. With Brazil having extremely high taxes, the people here are sick and tired of the government, mainly because the taxes go mainly to the politicians and not to the public projects that they promise to fund. Here in Brazil, if you have a car, you have to pay 4% of the value of the car every year as a part of the tax. Some taxes in some states go up to 50 and 60%. Now, when there's public projects like there was here in Rio, there was recently a bridge built here to help bikers get across during the Olympics that are coming here. That bridge costed taxpayers $35 million US. Now, it has since come to light that $30 million were actually pocketed by the politicians. $5 million was spent on this bridge, and this bridge collapsed, killing a few people. This is the amount of corruption that is happening here today. Now, of course, it also has been documented that many of the pro-government protesters have actually been paid previously before to attend these protesters. This has been kind of examined and exposed by a lot of people here who have been paid to support this current government. Now, with all of this happening, the people of Brazil, regardless of Dilma's corruption, regardless, are sick and tired of the politicians, but they do seem to love the state, which is a contradicting relationship, which will ultimately, which everyone is saying, will bring in a more corrupt vice president into power and have no real political change in any way, shape, or form, just intensifying the corruption. But the people here are sick and tired, and that's why you are seeing millions and millions of people come out to the streets, because they just want anything to change in this country. But the future, from everything that I've heard from all the locals, from looking into this, from studying into this, is extremely bleak here in Brazil. The economy is extremely poor, and with the corruption, with the state abusing its powers, controlling a lot of public institutions, controlling and regulating a lot of businesses, the future of Brazil is not bright in any way, shape, or form. Even though these people are dancing, the meek, small numbers shows us that there will be a significant political change that ultimately, from my expertise, won't lead to anything good. This is Rudkowski reporting from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. We're going to have more news on this subject. Take everything I said with a grain of salt. This is everything that I've been hearing, seeing, talking to all the people here in Rio. The situation is extremely complex, to say the least, but we're here giving you the most information we can about everything that we are hearing. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. Is this a coup d'etat of Dilma, or is this just people rising up because they're utterly sick and tired of politicians? Let me know in the comment section below, and of course, don't forget to subscribe. We're going to have a lot more information coming here your way on youtube.com/WeAreChange.